you have been with Certhon for some time, and I know that you are established, of course, in an international scenario. Uh, we've sort of want to find out upfront is what are your roadmap? What is the roadmap for Certhon? How do you see that? And what in particular the projects within the EU in Poland and Romania, Slovakia, and also the Far East, the Russian ventures. How how has that been growing, and how is the outlook for this?
That's a good question, and that's the biggest part of my daily business, as I'm responsible for strategic business development, as they say within Certhon. So we see a lot of, we did a lot over the last years, a lot of successful projects, mostly in the countries that you just mentioned, like Central Europe, Eastern Europe, Russia. We are now currently doing a big project in Shanghai. US, we did some projects, but we want to, we are more defining now what's happening where in the world. And what you see, there's a big trend, a big demand for local production. So literally feeding the mega cities is already happening. A lot of people speak about it, but it is already going on. What's good for our business, because we're Certhon, we are focusing on the high-end part of turnkey greenhouse projects and also indoor farms, as we call them. So we never call them vertical farms, we always call them indoor farms. So we focus on the high end. And what's interesting to see that people are going to live more and more in cities, and that these mega cities in the world are mostly in difficult climate zones. So in climate zones with very high temperatures, very high humidity, and in the past there was simply not the technology to grow there. So we are really focusing now on these parts of the world. So let's say China, Japan, Southern China, maybe later also Malaysia. That's for us a very interesting growth market for the next coming years, because the demand is there and we have also the solution to bring. So that gives a good business case. On the other end, we also see the same more or less in the Middle East. So in the Gulf region, also Saudi, that's the economy is well developed. The retail is very well developed. You always see this combination when the retail chains and food services is in a well-developed stage. Then there is also more demand for production which has been grown in a high-tech environment, or in a controlled environment. So these are the countries for the next years where we are looking at. Also the US, because we just spoke shortly before the interview about the US. They import still a lot from Canada, they import from Mexico, but there is a very big demand for local production. So these are more or less the countries we are focusing on. What will be the new markets for us in the time between? Of course, we do not in the Netherlands we have the saying: "Do not throw away your old shoes before you have new ones." So we also see. We also have a good market here in Europe, where we have a strong reputation, where we have a lot of experience. So that's more the base under our business, and the growth is coming from the new markets. What we see there is a big demand for experience. So experience in how to grow your crop, how to run a greenhouse. There's a shortage on labor itself for crop maintenance. Crop harvesting. What we have, most people now I think already know, since 6 months we have a new shareholder, the co-shareholder I need to say, the Japanese company Denso. This is a company who's very a market leader in the automotive industry. So they are producing all kinds of parts for the automotive industry, but besides producing these parts, they also are very strong in the technology about how to produce them. So they are very strong in robots, machine learning, big data, how to make supply chains more efficient, etc. And what's interesting to tell, that Denso wants to diversify in other branches. So they decided to go into food production, and for that reason, they took a stake in our company. And together, we are going to combine our knowledge about turnkey greenhouse projects, indoor farms, with their knowledge in robotics, big data, machine learning. And what we wanted to achieve is to simplify growing. And when you want to simplify something, you need to have technology. And when we can combine these things, then we have also a better solution, like for the US market, when there's a shortage on knowledge about how to grow certain crops, a shortage on labor. And that's more or less the roadmap for the next coming years, where we're going to focus on. So we're going to expand, how do you say it, the term turnkey and high tech. We are literally going to bring it to a next level.